Tonight, Fox Carolina investigates. It is one of the hottest topics in the state. What, if any, kind of role should religion have in college sports? Most of the recent attention's been on the Tigers football program.
But Fox Carolina sports anchor Aaron Cheslock found out that religion plays a major role for the Gamecocks quarterback, too. He joins us now in the studio with this story.
Well, guys, Dylan Thompson's an upstate guy, Boiling Springs, born and raised, but he didn't become devout and truly start following his faith until he landed in the Midlands. While Thompson plays to win, winning football games isn't what drives him. It's Christianity, first and foremost.
Faith in football, God, and the gridiron. Tammy Thompson describes her son this way. He loves the Lord, great son, good brother, and then plays football. You probably know him from the latter. Thompson takes the reins as quarterback for one of the top programs in the country. The Gamecock signal caller says his true calling is to share his religion.
I'm not sitting here telling people that I've got it all together. I'm not trying to tell you that I have it figured out, that I'm living this perfect Christian life. I just want people to know that I love Jesus with all my heart.
Growing up in Boiling Springs, his dad says Thompson fell in love watching football early on.
Coming home from a game one day and I saw him back there smelling of a chin strap, when he's like third or fourth grade. He just was always one of those guys.
While coaching middle school football, Danny Thompson didn't let his son play quarterback. Not because he wasn't good enough, but to expand horizons.
What if you put all your eggs in one basket and as a dad and say, you're going to play quarterback, and then you get somewhere and somebody's better than you. You got to know how to play another position or another sport.
Thompson went on to play 4 at Boiling Springs High. Work ethic set him apart. Finding his niche on the gridiron, Thompson still searched for spiritual solid ground.
In high school, I put on a show. I really believe that. There were moments, I'm sure, where I was, somewhat honoring God, but for the most part, I didn't really care.
In 2009, Thompson left the upstate and committed to the Gamecocks. He was redshirted his freshman year. As the stage got bigger, Thompson struggled off the field.
He went through some trials in his freshman year of college, and he realized that none of us are perfect. I
was just caught up in everything the world throws at us, and that's a lot of different things, but for a man, it's pretty easy to figure out.
April 2011, Thompson has a moment of clarity. He confessed to his pastor back home.
He's exposed to this whole new university world that is a completely different place, and he kind of lost sight of his spiritual moorings and foundation, and kind of got caught up in some of the crazy stuff that a lot of students do.
Thompson says he found God and decided to dedicate himself to faith over football.
I know how weak I am, and I know that I'm not too big to fall.
That fall, Thompson came back to the upstate and arrived on the national stage. In the Palmetto State's biggest game, the Boiling Springs product went off for 310 yards and 3 scores. With the fortune comes the responsibility of the fame.
People are going to watch you. You're going to be, in some ways, living in a glass house because you're a leader and you're gifted. And so the Bible says, to whom much has been given, much is required. And he seems to have really taken that challenge.
I know in church.
After the season, Thompson began spreading the word, talking at churches, sharing his beliefs.
The cool thing about, church that people don't want to admit is that we don't have it all together. For me out here as a quarterback, everyone thinks you have it all together all the time, but that's part of practice. You don't.
He even released a Christian-themed DVD with his church to more than 20,000 homes in the Boiling Springs area. Dylan Thompson's spirit was becoming as famous as his arm. Thompson now takes over a top-tier team with a bigger platform to preach than ever before.
I think he's prepared. I think that everything he's gone through has prepared him for this, for such a time as this.
Thompson's parents encourage him to share his faith.
You don't want to shove it down anybody's throat, but if you live it and people seeing you live it, then they get it.
Knowing many in Gamecock Nation want football forced up the priority list, Thompson's support system keeps faith on the front burner.
We all thrive on college sports, especially football. I do too. I love college sports and football. But I think that if he ever puts Carolina football first, then he won't be Dylan. He won't be able to do what he's done.
With an entire fan base behind him and thousands of followers, Thompson's future in football is likely decided this season. But with more eyes on him than ever before, he doesn't fear failure.
At the end of the day, we're human. I'm gonna fall at some point in some way. But I do want to be someone that people can look up to, can say that guy doesn't have it all together, but he's following Christ and obeying God, with all he's got.
Faith over football. For Dylan Thompson, regardless of what the score says, he's already won.
Now, Thompson says he prays before every football game, but not for wins. But regardless of the outcome, that he honors his faith. Now, we'll have more from Thompson on the Clemson-Carolina rivalry a little later in sports. But as the topic of the role in religion in college athletics grows, will Thompson be scrutinized for using his platform and popularity to preach? Only time will tell. Reporting live in the studio, Aaron Cheslock, Fox Carolina Sports.